It is mailbag time here on Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. You have questions, I have answers, and without further ado, we will go ahead and get started with another mailbag this week here on the channel. And our first question in the mailbag this week comes from Brandon. Brandon wants to know, hashtag Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. What is DK Metcalf's fantasy value with Wilson gone? So that's a very interesting question there, Brandon, because a lot of people have wondered the same thing. Can DK Metcalf, and the same can be applied to Tyler Lockett as well, does their value go down with not having Russell Wilson there? And here's what I'll point to. What the numbers say. When DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett played last year, when Russell Wilson was out and Geno Smith filled in, their numbers did not drop off at all. It was almost identical, comparatively speaking, when Russell Wilson was out there. And here's another way to simplify this, folks. Think about it this way, okay? If you are a Seahawk fan, fantasy lover, or whatever, and you're trying to figure out just how this is going to work out, let me put it to you this way, okay? If I'm a new quarterback, if I'm Geno Smith or I'm Drew Lock, and in particular with DK Metcalf, and I'm trying to find some comfortability with the offense, what am I going to do? Oh, yeah, I'm going to throw the football to the 6'3", 6'4" receiver. To me, that would make the most sense. That's what I would do, at least anyway. So I would expect that whoever the quarterback is, whether it's Drew Lock or Geno Smith, either one is going to depend on DK Metcalf to an extent. So thanks for the question there, Brendan. Next one comes from Ray. Ray wants to know, hashtag Seahawks, what players on the Seahawks have the risk of losing their job? For example, if Charles Cross has a really bad game, will he get benched? Charles Cross is not getting benched. Charles Cross, here's one thing to think about, too, when we talk about the rebuild process that the Seahawks are going through. Part of it is that you have to learn on the fly, right? That you have to learn as this thing is going along. And for Charles Cross, we saw that first preseason game. 5 penalties he got called for. Now, if that happens in a regular season game, they might pull him aside and try to get his attention, but he's not going to be out for long. There's certain guys that expectations are lower than others. Rookies, there's going to be a learning curve for Charles Cross, Abraham Lucas, guys like that. But for the running back position, if Rashad Penny's not getting it done, I don't think they hesitate putting in Kenneth Walker III in there. It really is just situational. There's no defined thing that says all these guys have to play a certain way in order to keep their jobs. It's different for different guys. Like Cody Barton, for example. Cody Barton is somebody that the Seahawks need to play really well. And if he plays like he did in the preseason and the regular season, I don't think his leash is very long, that he gets pulled out pretty quick. So something to think about there. Different for every player, but good question there, Ray. Tyson wants to know, could Seattle grab Tyler Huntley? Tyler Huntley has looked like the best backup quarterback in the entire preseason in the NFL. He has been that good. I believe he only has like 3 incompletions in the 2 preseason games for the Ravens. But unless Seattle just offers the moon for Tyler Huntley, I don't think the Ravens are going to be trading him and moving on from Tyler Huntley. He's got a team-friendly contract, and if you're the Ravens, it has to be an offer you refuse. And because of the way Lamar Jackson plays, Tyler Huntley provides a safety net there. If something were to happen to Lamar, they have a dependable backup that they believe can still take them to the playoffs and play well there on that front. So for Tyler Huntley, I like Tyler Huntley a lot. He's as good as any backup out there, but I just don't see this being a marriage that happens right now. I don't see Seattle going out there and bringing in Huntley, and I don't see the Ravens moving on from Huntley either. But thanks for the question, Tyson. Rick wants to know, what do you expect out of Drew Lock on Friday? Hashtag Seahawks. What I expect out of Drew Lock, I think that if you're Drew Lock, as far as what I expect, this is kind of what I want to see. I want to see him be aggressive, right? The advantage that he has, comparably speaking to Geno Smith, is that the ceiling is higher, that there's more chances to move the football. If either quarterback, if you told me was going to have a 400-yard game and I had to put my money on it, my money is more likely on Drew Lock than it is Geno Smith. And so for me, that's what I would want to see is Drew Lock show that he's capable of being that guy, that, hey, he's not here to be a game manager, that he's here to be the better outright quarterback to try to win you games. Not be afraid. Play fearless out there. That's what I want to see from Drew Lock is play without fear. Thanks for the question, Rick. Madden, scale this. 1 through 99. No 100s here. There's no 100s in Madden. Everybody knows that. 1 through 99, what overall would you give Drew Lock? We're going to let you be the Madden simulator here. If you had to put the rating on Drew Lock, what would it be? Scale it 1 through 99 and let me know in the comments either way how you would scale this for Drew Lock, what you would rate him. Next question, Zeno wants to know, would you rather have Lock, Smith, or Jimmy G, but you have to trade for him? See, that's the interesting one here with Jimmy G. Jimmy G is the better of the three quarterbacks, but I'm not trading for Jimmy G and giving up $26 million and in the process also making my rival, the San Francisco 49ers, better in the process. None of that just adds up and makes any sense there. So I guess Drew Lock would be my guy of the circumstances, but all things considered, if I didn't have to trade for Jimmy G, if he was just a free agent and cost, $10 or $11 million, don't have to give up anything for him, then I'm going with Jimmy G. So my hierarchy there, if all things were equal, Jimmy G, Drew Lock, Geno Smith. But in this circumstance, you've given it to me, I go Drew Lock, Geno Smith, Jimmy G. So thanks for the question. King Seahawks says, #Seahawks. Tyler, would you want the Seahawks to bring back their throwback jerseys or unveil a blackout uniform and helmet? I love the old AFC jerseys that they wore in the days before they were playing in their current home in Lumen Field. Back in the day when we saw what they were wearing of that AFC style and the lighter colors, that was a good scheme. I would love to see that brought back. A blackout uniform, I feel like that's been done. I mean, every college team in America, it seems like, is trying to be cool and have some blackout game. Like Boise State or Oregon or Cincinnati or all these schools. I've seen that done before. It doesn't make you unique if you have a blackout game. What makes you unique is the Seahawks classic uniforms. Those would be unique to see those brought back. So, yes, that's what I'd much rather see. Not opposed to a blackout game, but it's not my preference, not my priority. I would want to see the throwback uniforms brought back. Seattle Stand Up says, what's your level of concern with the Seahawks running back? So let's kind of, set up the scene for you in this situation for the Seahawks right now. You have Rashad Penny coming back from the injury he suffered after the first preseason game, but it looks like he's fine. They're kind of just holding him out. And then you also have for the Seahawks Kenneth Walker now with his new injury that he's dealing with. And we don't know the timetable of his return, how long that will be as far as he's concerned. Doctors have told Pete Carroll that they don't have a timeline for things right now. Pete Carroll is hopeful he's back week 1. But, I'm hopeful that, I end up on a cruise in Maui someday too. What is hope, right? So, with that said, my level of concern isn't high because of what we've seen from DJ Dallas and Travis Homer. Those guys have played so well in the preseason, in particular DJ Dallas, that you don't have to rush things back with Kenneth Walker III, that when you feel like that Rashad Penny is 100%, that he's ready and he's fully to go, that things are fine there. So my level of concern, not very high, but it could be worse. I would feel different if I hadn't seen what I saw in the first 2 preseason games from Travis Homer and from DJ Dallas. But thanks for the question. Subscribe to Seahawks Today, our live watch party coming up on Friday night for the matchup with the Dallas Cowboys. We'll get started about 15 minutes before kickoff. 7:45 Eastern, 4:45 Pacific, right here on Seahawks Today. We'll do a little pregame show, then react to the game in real time, and have a few cold ones too. You will not want to miss out on that. And then afterwards, we'll do our live postgame show. And I got to tell you, it is a good time. Everyone has a laugh or two and enjoys some good drinks with us. It is can't miss, folks. You got to be here. It's the best way to watch your Seahawks play is right here on Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Join us Friday night, 7:45 Eastern, 4:45 Pacific. Another question coming in from Dude Man. How big of an acquisition would Roquan Smith be? How much higher would this defensive ceiling be with him in the middle of the field? He would be a big add, but the Bears already worked out a deal. They ended the situation, the contract dispute, the trade requests by giving him a new deal. So I think things are fine there. It's one of those situations where, in theory, yeah, Roquan Smith would be nice, especially if he doesn't cost you too much. If you don't have to give up a first-round pick, that'd be great. But in actuality, I don't see Chicago moving on from him now that he's gotten that contract and that money he wants. So thanks for the question, but just don't see it as realistic. Nick checking in with hashtag Papa Seahawk. Fly! Can Drew Lock get something with the offense? We saw a lot of positives from that first preseason game against Pittsburgh. And as we've mentioned, I think that his ceiling, with what he's capable of to move this offense, is higher than Geno Smith's is. I'm just concerned about the turnovers. Can he take care of the football? I don't think moving the ball is the issue. It's protecting it with Drew Lock. So could he get something going? Potentially, but that remains to be seen. But let's see what he can do Friday night. If he can air it out, if he can have himself a day, then watch out. Who knows what happens there? But let's see him unleash. I want to see him unload a bit as far as I'm concerned. I want to know, who are you most excited to watch against the Cowboys? Give me one name that comes to mind. A certain player that you're excited to see for this team. Let me know in the comments one name that comes to mind who you're excited to see for the Seahawks against the Cowboys. There's a lot of names. For me, it's D. Eskridge. Finally, we haven't seen him a whole lot since he entered the NFL and since he missed these first couple of preseason games. To me, he's the one out of, for me, it's the intrigue of the unknown, how well he's going to play. But who is it for you? Let me know. Got a great deal that we're offering Seahawk fans here on Seahawks Today. DK Metcalf jerseys are on sale now at chatsports.com/DK jersey. You can get yours in the neon green, or if you want to wear the traditional home or away colors, either way possible. We have these on sale for you at chatsports.com/DK Metcalf. Look, we know DK Metcalf's going to be in Seattle the next couple of years. You need to move on from your Russel Wilson jersey anyway. Get yourself a DK Metcalf jersey now at chatsports.com/DK jersey. Order yours now, and it'll get there in time for football season. So what are you waiting for? chatsports.com/DK jersey. Next question comes from Jack. Jack wants to know, could you see the Seahawks having a two-quarterback system this season where they switch off depending how they play? No. There's no two-quarterback system. That never works. That never happens in the NFL. The only thing that I've seen a two-quarterback system of any sorts in today's NFL is Kansas City does a thing where they allow Blake Bell, their backup tight end, to come in and run a Wildcat package, the Belldozer. And the Wildcat, as a whole, really kind of fell away by the wayside. And that's really the only way you do two quarterback systems. And they're not even real quarterbacks, traditionally speaking. So with that said, no two quarterback system. That's not happening. It'll be one guy or the other, whether it's Locke or Geno Smith. And then if something happens or if they're struggling, then they switch things out and they try something different. But no, there will never be a two quarterback system. Absolutely not. Next question coming in from A. A wants to know, who has been a breakout player in the preseason for the Seahawks? A breakout player for the Seahawks this preseason for me is Boye Mafe. He has been dynamic. And we talk so much about the other rookies, like what Coby Bryant and what Tariq Woolen were doing in training camp and in OTAs. And then we talked, of course, about Kenneth Walker III and many other guys, with this Seahawk team. But for him to kind of go from being forgotten about and to step up the way that he did, especially in that game against the Steelers, with the plays that he was making, with the pressure that he was getting on the quarterback, to me, that's what I'm excited for is Boye Mafe, because of the rookies, too. When you look at Lucas and Cross, those guys are expected to be starters. Boye Mafe started with his back against the wall as a backup, and he very, very well may, halfway through the season, already be a starter potentially. So, for me, he's a breakout player. I love what I've seen from Boye Mafe. We have a super chat. Right to the line, Tom Downey's creepy smile goes. Tom, creepy smile? I could see that. Tom's creepy smile wants to know, Kyle Fuller making the team as a swing inside offensive lineman. Thoughts? It was a 7th-round pick for the Texans and playing center. He kind of gets manhandled at times. I don't know about that one, personally, as far as Kyle Fuller goes, about the idea of him potentially making the team. Because you look at the Seahawks, even though they're retooling their offensive line and rebuilding there, this is a group that I think has their team established. The only thing that I see potentially changing for the Seahawks is if Gabe Jackson doesn't win his starting job and says, get me out of here. If I'm not going to start, I don't want to be here. That's the only thing I see changing. I don't see them, dealing with Kyle Fuller potentially. But nonetheless, it's a good question. Tom Downey's creepy smile, thanks for the super chat. I think we owe you a drink for that one. So before we wrap up here, follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram. Tyler Jones Live is where you can find me there. Also on Facebook as well, interacting with you guys all the time on those social media platforms.